I never thought I'd be sitting here surrounded by the ruins of my wedding dress, just a week before what was supposed to be the happiest day of my life. The delicate fabric lies in tatters around me, and with it, all the dreams my grandmother had passed down through this precious gown. My love story with my fiancé started like many others, unexpected and beautiful. We met at my friend Sarah's art exhibition on a cool autumn evening. The walls were filled with paintings of peaceful landscapes and stormy seas, somehow matching exactly how I felt inside. I was still healing from a bad relationship, and he was putting his life back together after his divorce. From our very first conversation, I could tell he was different. He spoke with such honesty about his failed marriage, about how his ex-wife's ambitions had grown beyond their family life. But what really caught my attention was how his eyes lit up when he talked about his daughter. She was his world, his anchor, and that made me admire him even more. He was upfront about everything, the complicated relationship with his ex-wife, the challenges of co-parenting, and most importantly, that his daughter would always come first. This openness drew me closer to him, even though I knew we had a challenging road ahead. Meeting his daughter was both exciting and nerve-wracking. She was 8 years old when I first met her, sharp as a tack and carrying a world of hurt behind her guarded eyes. The divorce had happened when she was 6, and it was clear she was still trying to make sense of her changed world. "You're not my mom" became something I heard too often, each time feeling like a small cut to my heart. But I understood. She was caught between two homes, trying to figure out where she fit in this new reality. My fiancé and I decided to try family therapy, believing it was important for her to know her feelings mattered. Those therapy sessions were like riding a roller coaster. Some days felt like huge breakthroughs, others like we'd taken 10 steps backward. But slowly, we started learning how to talk to each other better. Outside of therapy, I tried to connect with her on her terms. We discovered we both loved art, and I'll never forget taking her to her first ballet. Watching her eyes light up as the dancers moved across the stage, feeling her tiny hand slip into mine voluntarily, it felt like a huge victory. We had other special moments, too. During our family hikes, she seemed more relaxed, as if nature helped her let down her walls. I remember one time she fell and scraped her knee. When I reached out to comfort her, she actually let me hold her. It was such a simple moment, but it meant the world to me. Still, things weren't always smooth. Some days were full of laughter and fun, others filled with cold shoulders and harsh words. Her mom's influence didn't help. There was always this underlying tension, subtle comments that made everything harder. When my fiancé proposed at our special spot by the lake where we'd first realized we were in love, it felt perfect. It wasn't flashy, just us, the stars, and a beautiful promise for our future. We spent months planning a simple, intimate wedding at a vineyard outside the city. We tried to include his daughter in everything, from menu tasting to helping with small ceremony details. Some days she seemed excited, others, not so much. I noticed she was getting more defiant as the wedding got closer. Maybe it was because the wedding made everything feel more real, or maybe it was things her mom was saying. I'll never know for sure. Despite everything, we kept trying, kept going to therapy, kept believing we could make this work. Today was supposed to be just another normal day. My fiancé had custody, and his daughter was supposed to stop by my place for dinner after hanging out at her friend's house. I was in the kitchen cooking, the smell of garlic filling the air, when she arrived. She barely nodded hello, but that wasn't unusual these days. I gave her space, as I often did, continuing with my cooking while she went to amuse herself. When dinner was ready, I called out to her, but got no response. That's when I noticed my bedroom closet door was slightly open, something that never happened in my carefully organized apartment. My heart started racing as I walked toward it, and then I saw it. Glitter everywhere, like stars had exploded all over my floor. But this wasn't beautiful. This was devastating. There, amidst the sparkling chaos, lay my wedding dress, slashed to ribbons, the fabric defaced with splotches of glittery paint. My veil was in shreds, the delicate lace scattered around like the aftermath of some cruel celebration. I sank to the floor, the garment bag crinkling under my fingers. Tears blurred my vision as the reality sank in. My grandmother's precious heirloom, reimagined into my own wedding dress, was destroyed. This wasn't just about a piece of clothing. It was about the family legacy, the dreams and love it represented. When my fiancé found me there, my sobs echoing through the silent room, the look on his face went through a rapid succession of emotions: shock, pain, and then settling into a hard line of fury. He immediately went to find his daughter, who had retreated to the living room, her expression one of detached defiance. "What were you thinking, Rose?" His voice trembling with control. She just shrugged, her eyes cold. "What's the point? She's just a fat old cow anyway." The words were a slap, a verbal manifestation of the violence she had inflicted on my dress. My fiancé's reaction was swift. He confiscated her phone and called his ex-wife, his voice tight as he explained what had happened, insisting they needed to come together to decide on a consequence that matched the severity of Rose's actions. Left alone, the gravity of the situation began to settle around me like a heavy cloak. This wasn't just about a dress. It was about my place in this family, the respect I thought I had been building with Rose, the future I was stepping into with my fiancé. The betrayal felt as sharp and deep as the cuts in the fabric. When my fiancé returned, we faced each other across the ruins of our planned happiness. The air between us was thick with unspoken words, heavy with the weight of decisions yet to be made. "Emma, I don't even know what to say. I'm so sorry," he began, his voice rough with emotion. But sorrow wasn't enough, and we both knew it. "I love you, Alan, but I can't live like this. I can't marry into this. Today it's a dress, but what about tomorrow? What about every other day after that? How do we build a life on this?" I cried, the words tumbling out amidst sobs. I know it's hard. She's my daughter, Emma, but you are the woman I want to spend my life with. We can figure this out. More therapy, different approaches. Please don't let this destroy us," he pleaded, his hands reaching out to me. But I felt too far away to bridge the gap. "Can we, Alan? Can we really figure this out? Because it feels like no matter what we do, it's never enough for Rose, and I can't help but wonder if it will ever be enough for us." The conversation stretched long into the night, a painful dissection of our relationship, our future, and the family dynamics that threatened to tear both apart. Each word was measured, heavy with the gravity of what was at stake. In the silence of my bedroom, the remnants of my shredded wedding dress seemed to echo back to us, beautiful but broken, full of hope but fraying at the edges. As I sat amidst the wreckage of my wedding plans, my initial devastation gave way to a bubbling, fierce anger. The pain of betrayal from a child I had tried so hard to love was acute, stinging with the sharpness of broken promises and shattered dreams. Part of me wanted to flee, to call off the wedding and leave this chaos behind, let my fiancé deal with the aftermath on his own. Yet even in my anger, a softer voice whispered reminders of the love and commitment we shared. He was not just my fiancé. He was my partner, my confidant, the man I envisioned growing old with. Could I really walk away from the life we had planned together over this? Could I let Rose's actions dictate our future? My fiancé's reaction had been one of unequivocal support. He shared in my horror and sadness, his own heartbreak palpable as he confronted the reality of his daughter's actions. As we discussed what to do next, his words, though filled with concern and apologies, seemed to echo through a haze of doubt that had settled over me. "We'll fix this. We'll find a way to make things right," he had said determinedly. But the weight of his promises felt heavy, burdened by the countless conversations and interventions we had already attempted with Rose. Sitting on the edge of our bed, the ruined dress laid out before us, my fiancé reached for my hand, his touch normally a comfort now feeling like a plea. "Emma, I love you. We can get through this. Rose, she's struggling, but we are a family. We can work this out. Please, don't let this end us," he said, his voice trembling with the fear of losing everything we had built. I loved him more than I could say, but as I looked at the shattered remains of my wedding dress, I realized that loving him didn't mean I had to accept this. It didn't mean I should stand by as the life we wanted got repeatedly torn apart by actions that went unaddressed. "We need more than just promises now, Alan," I said, the resolve in my voice belying the fear that tangled my thoughts. "We need action. real change. His eyes flickered with uncertainty, but he nodded, understanding the crossroads we had come to. What do you need from me? From us? I took a deep breath, steeling myself for the difficult conversation ahead. I need to believe that things will truly change, that whatever steps we take next with Rose are not just temporary fixes, but real solutions. And I need time, Alan. Time to heal from this and to see that change happen. As the first light of dawn crept through the curtains, casting a soft glow on the remnants of my wedding dress, I felt a fragile peace settle over me. The decision to postpone the wedding was heart-wrenching, but necessary. It was a step back to take two forward, a pause to rebuild not just the trust between us, but also within myself. The road ahead was uncertain, filled with potential for both healing and heartache. But as I looked at my fiancé, his face lined with the same resolve and love that had drawn me to him years ago, I knew that this was a journey we were committed to making together, for better or worse, in the truest sense. The painful episode with my future stepdaughter, Rose, destroying my wedding dress a week before the ceremony, brought a stark lesson about the complexities and demands of blending families. This experience underscored the profound challenges that arise when uniting individuals with diverse histories and deep-seated emotions under one roof. The incident was a harsh reminder that familial bonds, especially those newly forged, require not just love, but an ongoing commitment to understanding and patience. The necessity of robust communication and the implementation of effective conflict resolution strategies became evident as we navigated through this crisis. The emotional turmoil caused by Rose's actions highlighted the importance of addressing underlying issues head-on, rather than letting them fester unspoken. It reinforced the need for setting clear boundaries and expectations for all family members, while also maintaining a compassionate and supportive environment. Moreover, the incident was a profound lesson in resilience and forgiveness within family dynamics. Choosing to postpone the wedding and focus on healing demonstrated the value of prioritizing the long-term health of family relationships over immediate desires or societal expectations. It was a testament to the strength of our commitment to each other and to Rose, showing that the path to a harmonious family life is sometimes paved with trials that test our capacity to forgive and rebuild. In the days that followed, my fiancé and I had several difficult but necessary conversations. We laid bare our fears, our hopes, and the painful acknowledgement that the path to healing our family would be long and fraught with challenges. We discussed more intensive therapy for Rose, potentially involving different strategies and specialists who could help us address her actions and our family dynamics more effectively. As we talked, the remnants of my wedding dress seemed to echo back to us, a physical representation of the fragility and resilience of our relationships. We knew that rebuilding trust and fostering understanding would be a delicate dance, requiring immense patience and a willingness to compromise. The decision to postpone the wedding was agonizing, but it was the right one. It was a pause to focus on the foundation of our family, to ensure that the love and commitment we shared could withstand the storms that lay ahead. In that moment of uncertainty, I found solace in the unwavering support of my fiancé, his face filled with the same resolve and devotion that had drawn me to him years ago. Blending a family is a complex and often messy process, with no guaranteed roadmap to success. It demands a deep reservoir of empathy, firm boundaries, and an unwavering commitment to navigate through the storms together. The true essence of family lies not in the absence of conflict, but in the ability to come together and grow stronger in the face of adversities. As I look back on this tumultuous chapter, I'm reminded that the path to a harmonious family life is paved not with perfection, but with the willingness to forgive, to learn, and to build anew. The incident with Rose's dress was a harsh lesson, but one that has ultimately strengthened our resolve to create a family where each member is seen, heard, and valued. The road ahead is uncertain, but I know that with my fiancé by my side and a renewed commitment to understanding and patience, we can overcome the challenges that lie in our path. Together, we will continue to weave the threads of our family, creating a tapestry that is beautiful, resilient, and reflective of the love that binds us.